Perfect. So we're just getting started. I just said my name is Neve, and I'm going to be bringing you through the class today. Really fun, quick, easy, one of our science, technology, engineering, art and math classes, so our STEAM classes. And really, normally we do cooking. So why are we kind of doing these science classes? Well, that's the fun thing about working with food. There's so much science behind it. So every 2 weeks, we kind of do a little bit, 30-minute quick class to kind of explore more in depth some of our science classes. Okay, so I'm going to go through our equipment and our list. So everyone do maybe a little tick in your head to make sure you have everything, okay? Okay, so the first thing we need is an apple. Nice and simple, any apple. Perfect. Okay, the next thing you need is, I have two, you only really need one lemon, or some of you might have an already bottle of lemon juice. I know some people might have that, which is perfectly fine. So you either have some fresh lemon. I have two just in case these are a little old, so sometimes when they get old, not as much juice comes out of them. So I have two just in case I don't get enough juice, okay? Next thing you need, you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3 bowls, okay? So you might have bowls, or there might be a dish or something, because we are going to be pouring liquid into it. So a plate won't work. We will need some sort of a bowl. Okay, perfect. Let's make sure everyone has that. Okay, and then also we're going to need a chopping board and a knife. Now you might have a child-friendly lettuce knife that you can use by yourself, no problem. If you are using a sharper knife, make sure there is an adult nearby that either they can help you with it, or maybe you have permission to use it as long as they're really nearby. So yeah, chopping board, knife, and now a kettle or something that you can boil water with. Now for the boiling of the water, we will definitely need an adult or someone for that part. Most of the other experiments most of the other instructions we can do by ourselves, but definitely for the boiling water, we're going to need an adult, okay? Now, if you don't have a kettle like me, maybe you'll just use a pot. Maybe you could start slowly boiling that now because it takes a little bit longer, whereas this kettle will only take about 90 seconds or 2 minutes to boil, because I don't have a lot of water in it. You can see it's just up to there, okay? So maybe someone can help you out with that. Okay. Let me just make sure everyone is good to go. Can everyone give me a thumbs up if we're ready to start and you have all the equipment? Super. All right, let's get going then, because our time's going to go by quick. Okay, perfect. So what are we doing today? Okay, first of all, I have an apple. Everyone knows apples you can kind of get in red or green. Who can tell me what does the inside of an apple look like? It doesn't really matter if it's red or green on the outside. Normally on the inside, they look the same. Who can tell me what maybe the color of an apple looks like on the inside? I see, is it Alex? Alexis and Madeline? Am I saying that right? Do you want to unmute yourself and let me know the answer? Let's see, I unmute you. There you go. Madeline, is it?
White.
Perfect, so it's kind of a white or a pale yellow almost. Excellent. And I see Elise as well says it has a core. So excellent, it does. It has a core and seeds in the middle. Okay, what we're doing today is, in a lot of fruits and vegetables, there's something called enzymes, okay? Now enzymes, it's all fine, it's in there. But when we cut it open and it hits the air, does anyone know what's in the air? What do we breathe in? We breathe in air, but what helps us stay alive? What helps us stay alive? Cole?
Oxygen.
Excellent, oxygen, okay? So now we're going to explore what happens when the oxygen meets our apple, but when it's cut open. Because it's okay when it's like this, but when we cut it open and hit that pale inside, what is going to happen? Okay, so first of all, we're going to prepare our experiment, and then we're going to talk a little bit more because it has
we're not muted. 5
minutes, okay? So, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to juice our lemon, okay? So that's the very first thing we're going to do. So can everyone get their, I'm going to put down the screen so you can see it a little better. Okay. So we have a lemon. and I have a knife. Now, the way we're going to cut this lemon in half and we're going to juice it is we're going to make a tunnel lemon. Those that have taken my class before, they know. And you're going to put your knife through the tunnel and cut it in half. Okay, so that's step number 1.
Oh, we need the cutting board.
Okay, so put it through the tunnel and cut it in half. Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you've got done. Okay, some people are still working on it. Okay, now the next thing, there's 2 options. I just have a regular container here that I'm going to juice it into. What you're going to do for me is I'm going to do it by hand. Some people might have a juicer. Some people might have, you know, that juice extractor, whatever you want to use to help you get the juice of this lemon. Okay, so for me, I'm going to just use my hand and squeeze all that lemon juice out. Okay, so that's your very first step. We're going to get all that lemon juice out. And what's going to happen is there's going to be some seeds. When you juice it by hand, all the seeds will still go into the container. Whereas if you have a juice extractor or something like that, it generally catches the juice. So you kind of have to use all that muscle, try to get that juice out. Okay, we're going to do the full lemon. Everyone's using that muscle. Now, lemons are part of the citrus fruit family. So you have oranges, lemons, limes, and grapefruit. So these fruits, especially lemons, have a lot of acid in them. And the acid is key for this experiment, which I'll explain in just a bit. But just remember that lemon has acid in it. And it's going to help us. Okay. So I'm just going to put those over there. So I have my lemon juice, but remember I said, oh, there's seeds. So I almost have to go fishing to take those seeds out, as you can see. Because we don't need those. Okay, I have my lemon juice in here, which I'm just going to leave to the side for a moment. Okay, so good job. Okay, how many cups do we need for it? Great question. So we're only going to be doing a few slices of the lemon. So as long as there's enough lemon juice to coat each slice, it'll be fine. So in my bowl, what we're going to do is we're going to put the apple slices in, and then pour a little bit of lemon juice on. So I have 1 lemon juice here. I can measure it and tell you how much is in. It's probably about a 1/4 cup. Let's see. So this is a 1/4 cup. Perfect, it's exactly 1/4 of a cup. Okay, so that's how much lemon juice I have, which is more than enough. Okay, can I get thumbs up if we have our lemon juiced? Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to cut our apple. Now, has anyone ever eaten apple slices, but you leave them out maybe on the table for a long time, or maybe you forget about them and you maybe only eat 2 slices? Has that ever happened to someone? You don't eat the full apple, and you might leave a few slices behind. So that's happened to me sometimes. I'll eat, yeah, I see some people saying yes, excellent. Oh, sorry. Who can tell me what they noticed happens to the apple if you leave it out in the oxygen for a long time? Maybe you leave it out. Oh, I see. Is it Delilah? Yeah, okay. Just gotta unmute yourself.
So usually an apple turns brown on the outside when it's in the air for too long.
Excellent. So that is the main part of our experiment. So super. So normally those enzymes that I was talking about before that are in the apple, when they hit the oxygen, which what Cole said is in our air, the oxygen and the enzymes kind of have a chemical reaction, and it starts to make the apple go brown, and that is called oxidization. So that's a big complicated word, oxidization. But think of oxygen, and oxidization. So that's that reaction that causes the apples to go brown. Now, today's experiment, we're going to try 3 things, okay? 1, we're going to leave the apple out. Like Madeline's, or like Delilah said, it'll probably go brown, so we might know that, but we have to test it. The second bowl, we're going to put lemon juice in it. And the third bowl, we're going to put boiling water in the apple slices. So we have 3 bowls to see what happens to the apple slices, okay? But first, we have to get apple slices. We only have an apple. So now we got to use our chopping and our slicing skills, okay? So very first thing we are going to do, and I know apples, we often have difficulty slicing apples. They are very hard, but just try stick with it. And if you need some help from someone that might have a little bit more muscles, that is no problem. Okay, so what we're going to do to slice the apple is same as before. We're going to do like a tunnel, okay? And we're going to try slice this apple in half, okay? So you kind of have to push down. Sometimes you have to wiggle. You can use the palm of your hand and try get it in half, okay? So I'll show that again. So you use the tunnel because we want to be careful of our fingers. You put the knife through the tunnel and then you kind of slice, saw it over and back. Sometimes you have to push down and just do your best, kind of wiggle the knife, and then your apple will be cut in half. And well done to those writing in the chat and those who give the answer. As you can see, our apple is kind of a white, pale yellow, off-white kind of a color. No matter if your apple is red or green, it'll still have that color in it. Okay, so I'll wait till everyone has their apples halved. Get a thumbs up, super. Excellent. Thanks, Miles, super. Sadie, excellent. Okay, now, this is our math. This is our summer math class. We have a half, but we need to get quarters, okay? So that means we need 4 equal pieces, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn the mold upside down. Turn the bowl upside down. We're gonna do our tunnel again, and we're gonna cut these in half, okay? So same thing, this will be a little easier. It won't be as hard. You saw over and back, push down, and there you go. And you're going to do that with both of them. So that, because remember I said we need quarters, so we need 4 pieces. Okay, you can see the core is still on them. We're nearly there. Okay, our experiment only needs 3. So you know what? We're going to leave this one to the side, and this can be our snack time while we're waiting for our other apples. So let's leave this one to the side, and if anyone wants a little snack, that quarter is fair game. Okay, now these are a little big for our experiment. These are really big slices, so we need to make these smaller, okay? Now, this is the part where you gotta be really careful of your fingers, okay? And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna put it on its side. So see what I did there? It's on one of its flat sides. So that way, if you put it on its seesaw, it's gonna wobble around the place. We wanna put it on our flat side, and we're gonna try and make skinny slices, okay? So we want our bare claw, our fingers are curled in, and then we're gonna slice the apple like that. So you're just gonna get like skinny slices. Sorry, the seeds are on that one. Skinny slices, and it's just for our experiment. So if you see here, I have slices that are just like that. Okay, and you're going to do that with one of them first. And when you have all this one done, you're going to put it into one bowl. Okay, so let's do that first. Let's slice one of these quarters. And you might need to put it on its other side. Just really remember, keep those fingers curled in, okay? Now, my apple is a big apple, so I have lots of slices from 1 quarter. And I'm gonna put that into one bowl, okay? So that goes into my bowl, your bowl or whatever you have. Okay? And you're gonna do the exact same for your 2 other bowls, okay? So for this part, I might take off the core. So what you do is very carefully, you just kind of do a skinny slice to take off the core. You can leave that to the side. And the same thing, I'm going to put it on its side. I guess there's a sticker here that I need to take off. And you're going to okay, so I have 2 bowls. I need 1 more. Okay, and I'm going to do 1 more.
A glass of water.
Bring those fingers and curls in.
Boiling water.
Well, it boiled. I'll just have to reboil it again.
Okay, and while we're finishing up our slicing, if you want to, you can flick the kettle you have, or maybe your water's already boiled. That's what you can do while we're finishing up. Give a few more minutes so everyone is finished with their apples. So we have 3 bowls of apples. And while you're getting ready, or if you're waiting, you can make sure you have your lemon juice nearby, and also a 1 cup measurement. Okay, so you're gonna
I need a 1 cup measurement.
okay, a 1 cup measurement. While our water is boiling, so let's label these number 1, number 2, and number 3, okay? So in number 1, I want you to put your lemon juice over the apples. So bowl number 1, lemon juice goes over the apples. So we're gonna pour all of that lemon juice into our bowl with apples. Okay. So our lemon juice, as you can see, is in there. If you can kind of see. That's bowl number 1. Okay. Everyone do that? Bowl number 1, lemon juice. The next step we need is some boiling water, okay? So I think my kettle is about to go off, and we're going to add our, it depends on how many apples you have. Our NOR instruction says 2 cups. I'm going to start with 1 cup. Now for this part, as it is boiling water, maybe you can just call on an adult or maybe someone that's nearby to put in the boiling water, because boiling water is so hot, and if it gets near you, it would really burn your skin, okay? So, watching my bubbles go, I'm gonna wait till it pops, and then I'm gonna add 1 cup into bowl number 2, okay? So bowl number 1 is lemon juice, bowl number 2 is gonna have our boiling water, okay? So everyone stay with me with that. Perfect, okay. So I'm gonna measure 1 cup of boiling water, and I think that might be enough for me. Yeah, 1 cup is loads for me. Okay. Everyone have that part done? I see some thumbs. So bowl number 1 has lemon juice. Bowl number 2 has boiling water. What do you think we should do with bowl number 3? Anyone, any idea? What should we do with bowl number 3? Who wants to give a suggestion? Is it Addie? Okay. Hang on a second, Addie. You just have to unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Yes, there you go.
We're gonna leave the apples out.
We're going to leave the apples out.
Excellent. So we're just going to leave them by themselves. So our experiment, so I want everyone to think a little bit. So I was saying apples, they have these things called enzymes in them. And as Cole said, our air is full of oxygen. And then as Delilah said, our apples tend to turn brown when you leave them out. That's because something called oxidization happens. And that's where the enzymes meets the oxygen, and then a reaction happens. And it causes the apples to discolor, okay? It discolors them, and it changes their appearance. Now, do you think if you went to a restaurant and you asked for sliced apples and they came out brown, would you be happy? Would you be happy if you got apple slices and they were really brown?
No.
No. Yes, I'm hearing some people say no, and some people are saying no. No, I wouldn't be happy either. So what happens with a lot of fruits and vegetables is they have all these enzymes, but they go through a reaction. So then you have food scientists that are like, okay, the food still tastes good, but it doesn't look, because you know that sometimes you eat with your eyes, so it has to look good, but sometimes a reaction happens. So food scientists have come up with ways to make the food still look good, okay? So what we're testing out here is we're testing out acid. So lemon is full of acid, so it's like a very acidic food, okay? So that's going to slow down our oxidization, okay? So it's going to slow down the browning process, because that's what happens. What are we going to do with the boil that has nothing in it? Sorry, Katie, do you want to unmute yourself and explain a little bit about that question? I'm not fully understanding. Do you want to unmute? Yeah. Oh, you got to unmute. There you go.
Okay, so you know the bowl that has nothing in it? What are we going to do with it?
Yes, so we're doing absolutely nothing with it. All we're doing is observing. So we're observing what's happening to the bowl with the lemon, what's happening to the bowl with the boiling water, and also what's happening to the bowl that the apples are just in the air, okay? So this is what our experiment is, to see if we can slow down that browning process of our fruits. So is anyone noticing anything already with the apples that are left out? Because they've only been out a few minutes, so not too long, but is anybody noticing anything yet? Sadie.
I'm noticing that the ones that are being left out are kind of brown, but the ones in the boiled water are actually more brown than the ones that are being left out.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Was your water fully boiled, Sadie? It was, okay. Maybe sometimes, because what is going to happen is the boiling water is going to slow it down a little bit as well. But maybe sometimes if we didn't put the boiling water in immediately, maybe that's what happened. But we'll see. We'll wait till the end. But excellent. My one's in you can kind of see here. See it's starting to brown at the tops. So that's the apples that are just exposed to the air. Excellent. Is anyone else noticing anything else? And if you want, you could definitely take your notes, or sometimes I've done in previous class, what do you think is going to happen and what will happen? So it's like that prediction. So definitely. And I set a little timer, so I'm doing it for 5 minutes. So I think we have 1 more minute to go, and we're going to see what's going to happen. But what's good to know is my one's in the lemon juice. What's happening? Can everyone look into their number 1 bowl with the lemon juice and see what's happened? Has anything happened? Let's see. Peter and Mayo. Do you want to, let me see if you got to unmute yourself.
It's Mio and Petar.
Oh, sorry. Peter, oh, sorry.
Petar.
Excellent. What's happening to your apples in bowl number 1?
This is him, Mio. Okay, so, it's getting a little brown. It's getting a little brown. Or maybe it's just getting a little yellow.
Okay, yeah, so it's kind of staying the same. Excellent. And I see everyone. Excellent. Elise the same. Nothing is turning brown in it. Perfect. So we're getting other comments that it's saying it's still white.
Like the apples that are left on their own are just like sparkling water if you leave it out for a whole night.
Yeah, if you left these out for a whole night, they would be really brown.
Less bubbles.
Excellent. Okay, so perfect. So yes, I'm definitely noticing the most effective one is, look how that's still so white, and this is my apple that's in the lemon juice. Okay, and then these are my apples. I don't know if you can see, but you can already see they're starting to turn brown. And that's because that thing called oxidization is occurring. So they're starting to turn brown because the chemical reaction with the enzymes and the air is calling them to brown. So if you were to make a big bowl of fruit, but it's a big bowl and it's supposed to be for your cousin's birthday tomorrow, but you want to chop all the fruit up, but you still want it to stay fresh and look pretty. What do you think you could do? Does anyone cross their fingers and tell me, what do you think you could do? So you have a big bowl of fresh fruit, but it's not going to be eaten till the next day.
Put lemons on.
Excellent. So I missed the excellent. So whoever said that, perfect. You could squeeze. Oh, perfect, Cole. You could squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on it, and it would still stay fresh because that acid is going to slow down that chemical reaction. Now, the reason we did the boiling water, so I'm going to have to be very careful because the water is hot. I just want to show you. You can see the apples in the boiling water also didn't brown. So sometimes with bakers, they will do something called blanching. Blanching is when you put your apple slices or your fruit in boiling water, but then you'll run the cold tap over them. So it's also slowing down that process. So that's another thing that a lot of kitchen scientists will do. They will blanch or they'll boil their apples immediately. So you could leave these apples out a little longer, see how brown they get. If you wanted to, so our class is about to end, but if you wanted to set a timer and do it another 5 minutes, because the apples are really starting to go brown, it's hard to see in that, and see what happens after 10 minutes. But just remember that oxidization will occur when our enzymes in our fruit and apples hit the air, so oxygen. So if you didn't have lemon juice, you didn't have boiling water, what you can do to slow it down is put it in a seal-type container, because that's going to stop more oxygen getting in. So it will slow it down, stop more oxygen getting in, so you can put it in an airtight container or a really tight Ziploc bag and take out all the air. So that's another option you can do. All right, well, that's the end of our class today. Somebody did ask, could you eat the apples? You could definitely eat the apples. And what you should do is taste them all. See if they taste a little different or see if they taste the same. So you could close your eyes, do a little test maybe with your brother or sister, and close your eyes and mix up all the apples, the ones that were just left out, the ones that were in the boiling water, and the ones that were in the lemon, and see if anyone noticed the difference. Because remember I said sometimes you eat with your eyes, so you might look at the brown ones and be like, oh, I don't want those. But maybe if your eyes are closed, they might taste the same. All right, everyone. That's the end of our class today. So it was a really short, quick class. I hope everyone had fun. And there is going to be, I'll be back teaching another one in 2 weeks, I think. So definitely join back in. And we'll have more fun STEAM classes. All right. Bye, everyone. And thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.